Welcome back to the Makeshift Project podcast, number 12. We're moving right along. Zach, start us off strong. You have a public service announcement that I have yet to hear.
Yeah, I was thinking about it on my walk home and I was reflecting because I was editing a video for TikTok and the series happens to be Guess the Flag. I want to announce to all of our followers, all of our listeners, I understand I'm not good at guessing flags. I don't play FIFA anymore. I've never studied geography, maps, anything. I don't use the emojis. I don't have an excuse outside of that. I just want everyone to know, and I want to address it's 100% real. I stink at the game. It's fine. I accept that. We're going to keep posting it because we have fun doing it. And that is my announcement to everyone. Let all the followers know.
You might as well just throw in guess the country too.
Anything to do with geography or other countries. I haven't left the East Coast in the United States of America. How do you expect me to guess or understand the continents, the countries, whatever it might be? I'm not good at it. And I know it, but I'll continue to do it because I feel like you guys like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great series. I enjoy doing it. I think you do too. We'll see how that one goes. I'm sure that there will be more embarrassing posts to come. We're live right now, so we have viewers viewing the podcast before we air. Here's the live.
There it is. Hello, everyone.
All right, so let's get right into the topics. First one, I mean, it's an obvious one. It's the biggest thing in the news for the past week. Will Smith just demolishing Chris Rock's face on stage at the Oscars. What's your take on that?
I think it was 100% real. I'm not doubting that. At first, I was a little skeptical, but I'm on Will Smith's side. I think, the joke, anything that has to do a little bit more with something that someone can't control steps over the line a little bit. Apparently, there was some history behind it. I'm with Will Smith. Maybe a little bit not the best action to take, but I don't blame him for, raging a little bit and getting out of hand.
I am completely on the opposite side.
Oh,
I think that comedians are comedians and they make their jokes. And I've heard way worse of jokes than that and on stand-up comedy acts. And obviously it was towards his wife and you don't want to hear that, but it's a joke at the end of the day. He didn't mean any bad intention. And what I heard from other podcasts is that if it was anyone else besides Will Smith, which is the most beloved actor, that man would be arrested on the spot or at least escorted out of the theater.
Yeah, I feel like there's a shock factor that people don't understand though. Even if you're there in terms of security or whatever, I know it's Will Smith. So maybe it was treated a little bit differently, but I don't know. I feel like it happens and you're like, is this fixed? Is this staged? I mean, the actors and the actresses don't really know. And then they go back and they see Will Smith being a little crazy. They did consult Will Smith after. I think Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel went over, but it's just a little wild. And, I wouldn't have known how to act in this scenario anyway. So.
Yeah, no, I think that it's a crazy thing. I mean, I think that the one thing that we can, and I think everyone else can agree on is that you don't go on stage in front of millions of viewers or anywhere, despite the fact, and just slap a grown man across the face.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little out of hand. I don't
understand. if he was yelling or something, if he was obviously he was upset. If he just yelled or said something to him, or even if he said something to him afterwards, that's acceptable. Even if it was shouting in the crowd, it's acceptable. But once you take it to a physical,
I don't have anything to back this up because I've seen so much on social media. But doesn't he have a history for slapping? I think he slapped someone years ago in 2012 or something for some other thing, a playful slap. But Will Smith, turn it into a fist if you're going to go for it. Why not?
I mean, I don't know if he has a history of slapping. He might.
I've seen a video of him. I think it was 2012, and it was a playful slap, but it was come on, don't. I think it said come on, don't talk about my wife.
Okay.
So it was kind of similar scenario, but I mean, he did not hold back on the slap.
No, it was perfect form.
It was, and the noise it made, the sound it made, everything just lined up so perfectly. It seemed fake. I think that's why people thought it was fake and staged.
I was gonna say the same thing. It was almost too perfect of a slap to be a real slap. But I mean, maybe he's had some training from all the films he's been in. I don't know. I think it was 100% real though.
He was Ali. He played Ali in a movie.
He was Ali.
So
He was Ali, and then he was King Richard, which was the aggressive fighting dad. He was also in Hitchcock,
Hancock.
Hancock, and then I Am Legend. So some physical backgrounds there.
Yeah, and his relationship with his wife is already shaky and weird. And
it's a weird relationship.
I don't even want to get into it. So a lot of drama there. He's a damaged man. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
The second thing I have on my list here is that two things were announced directly and indirectly. Jake Paul is going to be fighting again in August. That's the first thing. And the second thing, which I don't think anyone's taken this into consideration yet, is that like a few weeks apart, Logan Paul said he's going to fight in August, and he signed with Bally Sports.
This is all news to me. I haven't heard any of this. This is why I love the way we podcast. Who's Jake Paul fighting?
He didn't announce anyone. Logan Paul didn't announce anyone. So my speculation is that they may be fighting each other.
Wouldn't that be something? The brothers
They make a lot of money. I think.
They would make a ton of money. I don't know. Who's like on a potential option list for Jake Paul to fight outside of that? I don't think it'll be McGregor.
I mean, it's like Jorge Masvidal, it's Nate Diaz, it's like those guys, the kind of the not the title holders, or like Usman, but I doubt he fights Usman. I mean,
yeah.
And then I doubt he fights a real boxer. And then there's always Tommy Fury, but who knows? I think they're going to fight each other, and I haven't seen anyone post about this yet. So I'm just going to break the news right now and say that they're fighting each other.
I mean, if we're early, it's going to be remarkable. We'll mark that. What is it, March 31st when we record this?
March 31st.
So we'll post it. We'll say that we're the first to announce it before anyone leaked anything.
I haven't seen it, so that's why I wanted to come on here and say that I'm stating it. Who do you think would win, Jake or Logan?
I'm going to have to say Jake, and I'm an older brother guy. I'm like, the older brother usually would win the fight, more experience, probably a little stronger, but Jake Paul has more boxing experience right now. Logan did box Floyd Mayweather though, so give him some credit there. But I don't know. I just feel like Jake Paul, the knockouts and actually looking pretty decently good in the ring. It's pretty remarkable what he's done.
I think the odds would be like -110 Jake, +120 Logan. Like it would be almost straight down the middle.
And because there's nothing really to base it on besides a few fights.
Exactly.
So it's kind of tough, but I don't know. I'm like, you're naming the names of the potential contestants that are going to face him, competitors, whatever. It's insane what Jake Paul, like just think about that. Jake Paul is the person who is having all these UFC fighters draw interest to fighting him. And 10 years ago, if you told me something along those lines that like an influencer or YouTuber would be doing that, I call you nuts. And the fact that's actually happening and he draws all this interest is pretty crazy.
As much hate as he gets, he's making some waves in the boxing world. All right, let's move over to basketball. In the past few months, maybe like 2 months, 3 months, maybe even this whole season, I think that it's absolutely remarkable that almost every single night there's somebody that scores 40. There's somebody that scores 50. There's multiple people that score 50. 2 days ago, KD dropped 41. Like it happens almost every single night now that someone's dropping a 50 bomb or a 40 bomb.
It's been insane recently. So many players have done it, and it's almost getting to the point where you're getting tired of it and you don't think it's as impressive as it should be. But there's just a plethora of great scorers in the NBA, and they're just taking over games when they need to and dominating. It's insane.
It's nuts. People like Ja Morant, Trae Young, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You got, I don't know who else. There's Luka,
LeBron.
LeBron, yeah. LeBron has had like 50 ball games in the past 3 weeks or something. I don't know. I just thought that was insane. I wanted to bring that up.
Who is the best scorer in the NBA?
You're asking a Nets fan this.
Well, I'm going to say Kevin Durant too. So who's the second best scorer?
Who's the second best scorer in the NBA? Like it's really tough. There's so many players. I want to be biased and say that the Nets have both the best scorers in the NBA and Kyrie Irving.
Such a Nets fan.
I can't. I'm not going to say that. But I do think that Kyrie Irving is the best, if not the second best point guard in the league. Besides the fact, I'm going to say Ja Morant.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. I think that when you look at it, you got to look at it in terms of different types of scores. Because outside,
no,
of
you
KD,
know what? No, that was stupid. I'm going to go Joel Embiid because there was a fun fact that if you took away all of Joel Embiid and James Harden's free throws, they wouldn't even be in the top 10 in scoring.
Doesn't Harden average like 10 free throws a game or something? He has
Joel averages more.
I think James Harden has more free throws, and Joel. This is probably the stat you saw, like more free throws than field goals or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. But I mean, they're manipulating the game in a way that they can. They changed the rules slightly, and they're still getting to the line. I mean, good on them. I wouldn't put them in the same field of scoring though, because they're getting to the line. They could create, sure, they could get to the line, they could score points, whatever. But in terms of doing it all, I'd lean towards someone like Steph Curry.
Yeah, that was like the safe answer. I wanted to give like a little hot take of it.
But I also said like someone like Giannis, if he could shoot. But I mean, there's no stopping Giannis, really. He could do it all from mid-range to, driving and dunking. And he had a video the other day. I think it was 53 feet he covered in one dribble. He literally went from half court and took one dribble and then collected himself. He traveled 30 feet. And then in his transition, after he picked up the ball, was another 22 feet. It was insane. Yeah. I was like, how is that even possible? It looks so fake on TV. But
I would put another person in that list, like right next to those people, Luka. He's just absolutely ridiculous. I think that if you watch Dallas Maverick games, he gets double teamed every single play, and he still manages to put up these crazy numbers, like points wise. Obviously, he gets all the assists, but they come up to the top of the key, force the ball out of his hands, and make the rest of the team win the games, because who else does he have on his team? Name one player.
No, and he's another person that could score in all different ways. And the fact that I'm trying to remember who's the second guy on that team. It's like not even, he's a lefty, I'm pretty sure. But it's someone that's like having a breakout year. Sure, he's averaging like 16 a game, but Luka's the focal point. And I feel like he went into a little slump earlier in the year, but he's figured it out. He's really hit a stride. And the Mavs are hot. I mean, they're playing really well.
They actually started playing well after they traded Porzingis, I think.
Yeah.
But
I mean, locker room cancer.
Yeah. I mean, all right. I got one more for you.
It's Jalen Brunson, Lakers. By the way. Jalen Brunson as well.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I don't look it up quick.
The LA Lakers are not in the playoffs right now. And the Brooklyn Nets are in the play-in game. I think that that's just a 360 from where we started out before the season with predictions.
I don't understand how the Lakers, I think it was the Lakers or the Nets that lost 11 straight. Did they both lose?
It was the
11
Nets.
Straight? Yeah.
Well, the Lakers, it was probably both of them.
I think they both did, which is unbelievable to me, how you can have so many superstars on a roster. I mean, the Nets were hurt a little bit. Pretty sure LeBron was, in and out. AD hasn't played as much. He's returning soon. But you're right. The early season predictions, we had both these teams at the top of their divisions. Lakers might not even make the playoffs. What's LeBron going to do? After his contract's up in LA, I think he's got another year or two. Does he go back to Cleveland? What's he going to do? I have no idea.
I don't know. I heard that Cleveland doesn't want him because they're playing so well without him. I feel like if he went back to Cleveland, I honestly feel like he would ruin that chemistry, because they have such a good team. You got to think Jared Allen's out, and they took a little slump because of that, but they still have Garland. They still have Sexton, Kevin Love. If Jared Allen was there, they were like the 3 or 4 seed at one point, I think.
And it continues to surprise me, because there's someone on my list early in the season that they had no chance of being good, and they wound up being great. They're a great team. I saw, and I forgot, I'm not going to be able to credit the TikTok that I saw or whatever it was. Every NBA team posts graphics at the end of basketball games of the final
I know
score.
what you're going to say.
Yeah. So it's like they post graphics of the final score, and this guy, I wish I knew his name, did an analysis to see, because a lot of rumors are going around that LeBron's never been pictured in any of those lost final scores. And it turns out he hasn't. Neither has Anthony Davis, and neither has Russell Westbrook. I think Malik Monk led the team. He was in 11. He was in 10 of the pictures. I was like, poor guy. Like, he's not that bad of a player. And LeBron
people I work with said the same exact thing.
It's just so funny. It was, and is it in LeBron's contract? Is it just something that the Lakers are trying to do to make it, seem a little bit better, or are they just protecting the superstars? Maybe it's completely coincidental. Who knows? I thought that was hysterical. I think it's so funny. And I think Russell Westbrook's only been in 4, and Anthony Davis only in 1 win. Yeah, so it's like you're really just promoting LeBron and like maybe Melo. Like I don't even know. Yeah,
I think that they're just protecting their superstars, but they are trashing Malik Monk's name by doing that.
Completely. It's awful.
There was one other thing where it was like, you know how everyone trashes Russell Westbrook and like Westbrook and everything like that, and obviously you see those terrible highlights, not even highlights, just plays that he makes.
Lowlights.
But it's absolutely nuts. Do you know what his field goal percentage is?
I think it's like 43%.
It's like 47. It's very close to 50%, which is
actually,
yeah, it's like 46 something. I actually saw it in one of Ryan Hammer's videos. Shout out Ryan Hammer 9. But
are you sure that wasn't over like a stretch of games? Maybe. No, I gotta look it up.
No, it's the whole season. And Hammer, it was like 40. It was closer to the upper half of 40 to 50, 45 to 50.
That's insane.
But I think that's nuts. Do you have it pulled up?
Oh yeah, he's shooting 44%. I mean, that's right as his career average.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and people are trashing him like it's such a down year. He's averaging 18 points a game, I think it is. 18 points a game, like 8 assists or like 8 rebounds. He's having like an okay year. He just has those crazy bad plays every once in a while.
I can't believe he was almost a Knick. Like the Knicks were talking about trading for him back when he was with OKC or when he was on the Rockets, whatever it was. And I didn't want him.
Are you happy?
I'm pretty happy that they didn't have him. So he's getting that out in LA. Just imagine New York. If he wasn't playing, I guess, well, or he's taking those crazy shots, like New York would have gotten trashed.
They would have had him out of there in a second.
Speaking of my Knicks, by the way, they were on a 4-game win streak and they beat the number 1 seed Heat. This is when I want them to lose. So they drop a
Heat
little
are pretenders.
We'll talk about it in a second. But they beat the Heat and then they beat some other crazy good team. And I was just like, this doesn't make any sense.
So this is like
losing.
This is just adding to your plague of being mediocrity, however you say that word. And you fall in the draft and you get like the 10th. Or
they're going to be the 11th seed. They're going to be the 11th seed and they're not going to do anything with the draft pick. They're going to get like the 10th pick. Unless they get lucky in the lottery, which we all know will never happen. But I don't know. It just makes me so frustrated. I'm looking forward to the Mets, man. The Mets are upcoming. Season starts in 6-7 days.
Yeah.
I'm hyped for it. And I can't wait to be disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, something always happens to the Mets. We'll see what happens, though. That is pretty much it. Will Smith, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Knicks, Nets, Lakers. Covered it all. We're on the live, baby.
What are people saying on the live? Is anybody saying anything cool?
We have 75 people on the live. We're podcasting right now with Zach. I don't know if we're podcasting. You guys are live on the podcast.
I don't know what I just did. I don't know what this is.
Good. That was good.
If there's no comments, anything on the live, then I think we're good to wrap.
Yeah, we're good. All right. That's another podcast in the book. Podcast number 12. See you soon. Podcast number 13 and Makeshift to the moon.
Makeshift to the goddamn moon.